Good morning, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are out there again. My name is Carson Cook, and thank you so much for tuning into the Merchant Services Slayers group. Guys, I'm very excited to have you here. If you are new to the channel, new to the page, new to the videos, this is where we discuss everything related to merchant services sales, the industry, so on and so forth. We cover a lot of different things in our videos, guys, here. And we have a lot of fun on our Merchant Services Slayers page. So if you're not a part of the page, go to Facebook and join the page. We have a lot of fun. Full of a lot of very good content that's not only funny, but also productive, effective, and efficient, right? To help agents close deals out there, and that's what we're all about. So today, going to talk about a very important topic, one that we talked about today on the conference call with our agents, and wanted to really get into this, and it's a super important and very valuable topic, especially if you're new to selling merchant services, and that's how do we prospect, okay? And what I mean prospect is how do we go in cold to sell a merchant services deal, okay? Now, in this industry, you have to understand, especially if you're getting into the industry now, or even if you've been in the industry a while and you're starting to recognize a lot of different changes over the last 15 to 20 years, is that it's becoming extremely competitive, okay? Now there's a lot of agent ISOs out there. There's a lot of people watching these videos that have their own company. There's a lot of competition, okay? With a lot of competition, a lot of call centers like ours, a lot of ISOs like ours, okay, we have a lot to deal with. We have a lot to compete with. So if you're new to the industry, this is where it can be overwhelming, okay? So what we're gonna talk about today are three main facts around how you should design your prospecting pitch when you're actually going in cold to meet with a merchant. Now, this is if you're selling face-to-face, okay? This is not necessarily inside sales, even though the same aspects hold true. The same sales design with the prospecting pitch actually holds true whether you're on the phone with inside sales or whether you're face-to-face and outside sales. So this message is mainly directed more to agents that are going in the field, that are meeting businesses on a daily basis, that have worked with some sort of ISO, that has been through training or so on and so forth, to where now they're getting their feet wet and they're going into a certain scenario where they're prospecting, okay? And they're prospecting for a few different things. Now, there's going to be some groundwork that I want to lay down before I give you our prospecting pitch, or the one that seems to work the best, okay? And the groundwork is important to understand. So especially if you're new, getting into merchant services, the first thing that you have to understand, okay, is that you are getting into a highly competitive business. Okay, that's like the rule number one that you have to understand. Okay, now what that means is that if you sound like everybody else and you don't do something to differentiate yourself from the other people that are walking in, you're going to run into a lot of hostility. You're going to run into a lot of objections, a lot of concerns, and so on and so forth. So it's almost like we try and train our guys the same way, is that there's a lot of untrained agents that walk into businesses daily, okay, constantly, weekly, monthly, daily, and these merchants, they don't like to deal with that, right? So they give them, they get to perfect their pitch. So the merchants probably turned away with their pitch a lot of agents more than the untrained agents has had experience with pitching. So they go around to 5 to 6 to 7 businesses. Now they try their pitch, they come back, they call their manager and they say, this is not for me. I can't handle this. This is too stressful. Okay, it's not necessarily that's too stressful. Most of the time when I hear this from people that have been in processing with different ISOs means that they're poorly trained. Now it's very simple. If you know that you're going into a competitive environment, you have to take yourself out of that environment, okay, and look at it from a bigger perspective, that if there's a lot of people doing it and failing, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad industry, just that they're doing it incorrectly, and that there's a lot of people doing it. So if you sound different than everybody else, then you're gonna have a lot more success and a lot more chance. So the first things first is that when you're defining this, is understand that when you start prospecting, you're going in cold, okay, and remember, this is for businesses like gas stations, grocery stores, restaurants, hair salons, barbershops, businesses that do anywhere from $10,000 a month all the way up to $150,000 to $200,000 a month, okay? They're gonna be treated the same way. It's no different, right? And for those that own ISOs out there that have some big whales, we've got big whales and we've got little merchants too. And if you're selling processing, it's a good idea to diversify your portfolio and to have as many deals in as possible, both high risk, both low risk, both high volume and low volume. It's mainly the volume that counts, the numbers that count within this game. So first off, when you're prospecting, you don't want to judge a book by its cover. You want to make sure that when you're selling merchants, you sell everybody, right? You set deals with auto shops. It's not good necessarily to niche, okay? And sometimes it can be if you have a specific software or POS that can handle that. But at the end of the day, when you're prospecting, you should hit each and every single business that's out there. Gas stations, grocery stores, restaurants, hair salons, barbershops, liquor stores, funeral homes. I mean, pretty much any business that accepts cards should be your fair market, okay? You want to diversify your portfolio. Just makes sense, okay? So this is when You're actually walking into a business cold to sell a processing deal. Now, what we teach our guys, okay, or our ladies, or our sales agents, or whatever you want to call it nowadays, whoever it is, okay, at the end of the day, you have to understand is that when you're prospecting, it should be like a light switch, okay? There's the sale, which is where you walk in with some set of steps of the sale or a process or some preconceived idea or notion around a sales process. And then there's prospecting. Now, it's going to be very rare for you or anyone that's highly experienced, myself, anyone, to walk into a business that very day and actually sign a processing deal on the exact same day of meeting them. Now, we don't consider that a one-call close if you do that, right? That's a brilliant thing. If you get a lead from the call center or if you get a lead from prospecting, that time or that opportunity when you get a chance to display your steps of the sale and go through a process, that's what we call a sit, okay? And that's one thing. All right, so we're gonna cover 3 things and an actual pitch that's gonna help you set more appointments in the field, get in front of more merchants, and actually earn more business. So the first things first, okay? When you're setting an appointment with a merchant, no matter how that merchant comes out, whether you're dealing with a gatekeeper or whatever, and we can talk about that later. We'll do another video on the gatekeeper pitch, which works very well. We do this all the time. It's awesome. It gets right past any gatekeeper, manager, regional director, anybody, and it gets the owner out. Okay, if you know the owner's on the premises, we'll do another video on that later. But the owner comes out. So let's say the owner comes out. Now you're face-to-face with the owner. How do you set that appointment? Now we're going to base our pitch off 3 main facts. Again, a big part about being competitive in a competitive industry or a competitive environment is know that you're in a competitive environment. So if you understand untrained agents, you'll understand that a lot of people will walk in and say, "Hi, my name's Carson Cook, and I work with some sort of so-and-so company, and I'm here to see if I can save you money off your processing." Okay, what can we do? Now that that agent is literally gonna get kicked out, like as soon as possible. They're gone. They're gonna say, "Oh great, there's the door, get the hell out of here." That brick wall will be as high as Mount Everest. No one's gonna be able to climb it. You've already mentioned processing, you're screwed. Okay, so the first things first is we want to discuss 3 facts that we want to cover first before we get our pitch off. Now our pitch is what's going to set the appointment. Now again, you're going to have to understand a third thing, okay, within prospecting for merchant services appointments, is that you are going to have to fight for every appointment. And that's okay. If you expect the objections and you expect the concerns and you expect the fight, then it becomes part of the process. It's normal. So expect the fact that you're going to get a lot of hostility. Okay, expect the fact that you're going to have to deal with some objections. And it's very simple. That's fine. Once you've got that internalized, you can start with the pitch. So how I like to do it is instead of introduce yourself and the company and then give your pitch, I like to address all the concerns, put all the concerns on the table and discuss them first, then get into your pitch. So that way there's a little bit of confusion, there's a little bit of an issue, and you don't sound the same as every other person that walks through that door. Okay, so the 3 facts are this. Number 1, merchants are business owners. They are busy. I don't care if they say that they're going to have a downtime or this or that, but every single person that you will speak with, it doesn't matter if it's a $5,000 a month business all the way up to a $2 million business a month. They are busy. That's it. They're just busy. Okay, that's fact number 1. Fact number 2, they don't like salespeople. They don't like the constant bombardment from our call center, from your call center, from your lead generation source, from you, from anyone. They don't like you either. That's just a rule, so just get over it. That's fact number 2. Fact number 3 is that more than likely, okay, unless they approach you through some sort of magical lead source, okay, number 3, they are happy with what they have. That's it. They're just completely content with what they have. If not, they would have called you and you wouldn't have walked in there, right? So if those 3 main facts are there, now we can design an introduction part to our sale, right, or an introduction part to our pitch to get the appointment set. Then we have the pitch part, and then we have the circling around or the close to actually set the appointment. Now there's a few different rules here that we need to address with each. Discuss the objections first, throw them on the table when you get an introduction, okay? Give them a compliment, do whatever you gotta do, any of the sales jargon you need to do. Make sure that you have a pitch that fits your ISO's product, whether it's a POS, software, some sort of pricing, which is amazing, so on and so forth, and then always have a circle, right? And Jordan Belfort talks about this. It's an address a concern circle, address a concern circle, go for the close, go for the close, go for the close. So back to the light switch part that I was talking about. The light switch is on, you're selling deals, and light switch is off, you're selling appointments. It's as simple as that. When you are prospecting in this business and you're going business to business, you are not selling processing. You are not giving information out on what program you have, what system you have, only the carrot, right? The carrot in front of the rabbit. What you should be focused on in selling is the appointment. You are fighting for the sale, you're fighting for the appointment. If I was gonna take an appointment and put it on a platter and hand it to you, this is what we're selling today. So when you are selling merchant services appointments, okay, you're setting yourself with an appointment. You're selling that. You're not selling processing. Too many newer agents get wrapped up in not following instructions, not following the training, getting into businesses and just spitting information about the POS and the system and the pricing to merchants, okay? And again, that's in this category of untrained agents. And this is also in that category of merchants that are prepared to kick your butt out of that business. It's as simple as that, okay? Super important. So now that we have those three main facts, which I hope you wrote down, we're gonna design the pitch. So let's just pretend John walks into the business. John comes up to Carson and says, hey, what's going on? Judy said that you were busy. How can I help you? And I said, oh, so you're John, right? Say, hey, John, what's going on, man? He said, oh, good. How are you? What can I do for you? What can I help you with? Well, John, you're the big guy that's on the sign outside, right? So I might crack a joke at this point and say, well, great, John. Well, look, man, I just got to be 100% honest with you. Look, I know that you're super busy. I know that Judy just went back there and got you. You were on the phone. I completely understand, man. So I'm not going to take up a lot of your time. I actually have an appointment that I have to get to down the street too, and I have a lot of businesses that I have to meet before I go meet them. Believe it or not, man, John, I completely understand. You have people that call you all the time. They come in here, they bother you, they try and sell you something, and I totally understand that. And believe it or not, John, fact number 3 is, John, I'm pretty sure you're happy with who you have. Every customer that I've ever met that loves our program, they said the same thing. And I get this daily. I'm happy with what I have. If not, then you would have called me and I'm here. But everybody's happy with what they have until they find something better, right? I mean, that Toyota Corolla that I'm driving out there, if I got a Ferrari for the same price, then I'd be even happier. So, I'm completely aware of that. But my program is 100% free. It's unlimited volume, unlimited swipes. We have POS stations that are absolutely amazing with a lot of different functionality. And again, I'm not going to bore you with all that right now. But the main part about this is that our program is absolutely free. Now, we do charge a little bit for equipment. We'll talk about that here a little bit. But again, I'm not trying to do anything right now. I'm trying to arm you with the best financial advice that you can get, so that way you can make a decision later, if not tomorrow, in the future, so on and so forth. So I'm just trying to see if I can set an appointment with you. So what's a good time tomorrow where we can come in and we can sit down? Will 5 o'clock work, or will 3 o'clock work? I kind of have the afternoon open. Now at this point, I have given my pitch, okay? And yes, they will sometimes ignore you right in the middle, but as long as you get those 3 main facts off, those are the 3 main objections that most of these newer agents in the field get daily. So if you address those first, it's difficult for the merchant to come back and say the same thing that you said to them. You beat them to the punch. Okay, so that's an important key aspect of discussing objections. Not only that, but right off the bat, is that now you've allowed yourself to address the concerns and say, here's your pitch. Like, look, I get this on a daily basis. I understand that you're happy with who you have. I get that you have a better rate, and I completely understand that people sell you stuff, and I understand that you're busy. But yet I'm still here, and yet I have a program that I have to show you because this is free. And I know you don't have our program. Now, again, I'm not going to discuss the details of it right now, and I'm not going to go into the whatever because like I said, I have another appointment down the street. Now, I highly suggest if a merchant tricks you into going into it now, they say, if I have time now, then let's go. If there's any sort of question, you should reset the appointment. You should set the appointment and move on. You should come back tomorrow because you got to get the first commitment. Worst case scenario, if they talk you into selling that deal right there, then you run the risk, okay, of having them say, well, I don't know you. I've never met you before. And it's a great presentation, Carson, but I just met you. I got to research the company. Now, they might ask you questions once the appointment's set. They can look your website up. They can do whatever they want before they meet you the next day. But now you have set yourself up for the steps of the sale, right? Give them the most amazing pitch, but if they're only there 20% in their brain and they're not paying attention or listening or learning, it's because you just met them. So that's the prospecting pitch that I use. A lot of our agents use that. It's extremely precise and persistent. It gets the point off nice, fast, and quick, but it gets the merchant to set an appointment. Now, they're going to ask you questions about cash discount. They'll ask you about this, about that. Anytime you get a question, if you're new to this, guys, that's brilliant. You want questions. That's buying questions. Then you just circle it back around. You answer. You give a little bit of the piece of the pie and say the rest of the pie comes tomorrow. You give a little piece of the pie, the rest of the pie comes tomorrow. Give a little bit of the response, but say you're busy and you have to set the appointment. And sell the appointment. Stay focused on what you're selling. And it is not merchant services. It's not processing. It's not POS systems. It's not value-added services. Stop pitching. Sell the appointment. Get it set. Okay? The numbers statistically have proven that if you can set the lead, okay, you're more likely to close it on that first initial sit with a process as opposed to some sort of random walk-in, okay? And it doesn't work that way. Sometimes it does, but I'd say 1 out of every 100 deals that I used to close, I would get that, right? And it's very rare. The machine's broken, they hate their current company. Some guy came in last week and screwed everything up and screwed the POS up, and I happened to walk in and got lucky and I pitched them and sold them that same day. It does happen, but stick to your process, stick to what you should do, and make sure that you set appointments. That's all I have for you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in the Merchant Services Slayers. Please like, share, and subscribe. Other than that, I'll see you on the sales board.